Well, the NHL playoffs have been very exciting, but we also have some other playoffs to talk about because for the first time in their franchise history, the Abbotsford Canucks are going to be playing in the third round of the Calder Cup playoffs. They'll be facing the Colorado
Yes,
Eagles.
they are.
Getting started on Friday night, game one, best of five in Abbotsford, as we expected. First two games in Abbotsford, next three games in Colorado. So I thought we'd bring Dustin on and have a little chat about how Abbotsford and Colorado looked against each other during the regular season and what you can kind of expect in the playoff series coming up.
Of course.
So let's start off. I'll bring up the fancy score sheet that I made here that I think I sent over to you.
Spread it on, Mr. Spreadsheet.
So this is the usual stuff that I do. So this has got the raw data. So I've got all the games that they played. So they played 6 times this season. Game 1, game 2, game 3, blah, blah, blah. All the data gets spat in there, gets all reformatted, and then comes out nice and fancy like this so we can sort everything up. So the first thing, obviously, with the AHL, there's a lot of movement in players. So the first thing is there was only 16 players on both teams that played all 6 games. So that's not a shock on that one, is it?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, especially, well, I mean, it's a little unusual that it was that aggressive, but given the seasons that, I mean, Colorado had some injury issues and the Canucks also had some major injury issues. We know that. So there was a lot of personnel changes up and down from both those clubs. But yeah, I mean, it's common in the AHL to see huge roster turnover for sure.
If you're to hazard a guess, who had the most goals by either team in the 6 games that they played?
I would guess Mr. Lekkemacki and Linus Karlsson were pretty high up there on the list of guys putting it to Colorado because later in the season they were really dominating Colorado. I think they won the season series 4-2.
Yeah, they did. So, Lekkemacki had 5 goals and he only actually played 3 games against Colorado. So he was almost 2 goals per game. He actually ended up having 7 points overall in 3 games against Colorado. So played very well. Karlsson did have 2 goals, also only played 3 games. So still very good numbers. And then Max Sasson, another guy who stuck out, played 4 games against Colorado, also had 2 goals. So a bunch of guys that didn't play a whole lot, but did find the score sheet when they did lace up against Colorado.
Oh, for sure. And I think Baines was an assist machine against Colorado this year too. He was really when he came back from Vancouver, he really helped.
Second most
getting the apples.
So him and your boy Ty Mueller. Ty Mueller had 5 assists and Archie Baines had 4. And then Wolanin and D. Petey actually both had 4 assists as well for the Abbotsford Canucks against Colorado during the regular season. And the same thing, Baines had 4 assists in 4 games. Wolanin had 4 assists in 4 games. And D. Petey had 4 assists in 4 games. Obviously, D. Petey won't be playing in this series. But either way, like Ty Mueller, almost an assist every game he played against them too.
Yep.
And then the last one.
There's a reason why Mueller got called up, right? Like the stats speak for themselves. The kid was a machine.
I think the last thing I'll look at for the stats here will be just the fact that it's Baines, Lekkemacki, Mueller, and Wolanin are the top 4 highest scoring players through the regular season. Mueller is the only one who played all 6 there, but all 4 of these players will be playing. And they had 7 points for Baines, 7 points for Lekkemacki, and then Mueller and Wolanin both had 5 points as well. I should also note that Lekkemacki had 15 shots in 3 games. So that's 5 shots per game, which is pretty damn wild.
It was so fun to watch these guys, man. It was such a different contrast to like watching the big Canucks. Just the way the young guys would pepper the net and just find ways to get shots through. It was awesome. It was awesome. When the system started clicking, it was so fun.
Dustin, make sure you check out the Glovey McGlovin video about Tocchet quitting TNT because he does a supercut of every time Tocchet's talking about his shots and how he didn't like the shot. I think you would love that video.
I will probably have to check that out for sure. Yep.
Okay, so before we jump over the season series stats, the team stats, Swerve and Irvin just donated $2.79. Dusty, who failed? The Canucks or Podkolzin?
Ooh. I wouldn't say that Podkolzin failed. I mean, he was a young player still developing and trying to find his place in the lineup. I wouldn't say the Canucks gave him the proper shot, given the type of tools he had as a player. And I think some of that comes down to what we've seen in the past from Tocchet's history with young players, and especially young offensive players, and trying to coach them the right way. Everywhere he's gone, the years that he's there, the young offensive players just don't thrive. And it was history repeating itself again in Vancouver. Unfortunately, Podkolzin was one of those, sacrificial lambs. He didn't work out under Boudreau, and then Tocchet really didn't give him a fair shot, so away he went. So I guess to answer your question, I mean, the Canucks probably gave up on him too early, and Podkolzin maybe wasn't getting the messages the right way, so it may have been a joint effort in that one, but he's definitely rekindled himself and found a place in Edmonton here and is playing well in the playoffs.
I'm going to take the third option you didn't give us and say his KHL team ruined him because his development in the KHL was horrific. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much anyone who goes to develop in the KHL.
Yeah.
you don't quite get the perspective of junior hockey here, where they prepare you for the NHL or the NCAA now. It's very different.
They punish you because you say you're going to North America.
It pretty much.
KJ Brazy also becoming a member, 4th month becoming a member, KJ Brazy. And he did it with a message that says, Big Dusty in the house. Rusty and Dusty's show greater than Katie, your one lucky lady. That's a handsome man. Just the right amount of scruff. Okay. They love you, Dustin. Let's.
I love them back. Love you back, chat. Always fun to be here.
So here's a little spreadsheet. I just threw a quick one together last night. So as Dusty mentioned, the Canucks did win 4 of the 6 games that were played. Only 2 of the games were actually played in Abbotsford, as the season series was 4 in Colorado and 2 in Abbotsford, which means next year's series will probably be 4 in Abbotsford and 2 in Colorado, as they do. But the Canucks are no strangers to playing in Colorado, as they did manage to win 2 games in Colorado, one of them being in a shootout and one of them being in nail biter in February. A couple of games I did want to ask you specifically about was a couple of the blowouts, because those ones always fascinate me. So I was wondering about the Eagles winning in Colorado on the October the 19th game. It was a 6-1 Eagles win. What happened that game?
So that game was early in the season, right? And the team was still learning Malholtra's system. He was obviously a new head coach. That was during their kind of win one, lose one. They were 500 for basically the month of October. They would win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They were missing a few key players at this point still. We had talked about it way back when, that it's difficult at the beginning of the season for AHL teams because there's still guys being looked at by the NHL teams that maybe haven't been sent back down yet or haven't made a decision on. So sometimes the roster for the AHL teams isn't set. So Baines and Oman were both up with the Vancouver Canucks at the time. Lecker-Mackey and Carlson were both hurt. So there wasn't a lot of offensive talent in the lineup, like our high-end stuff. Klimovich still really hadn't found his groove under Malhotra yet. He was getting going, but it was so early in the season. Just Colorado had an established system. They weren't coming in with new coach or anything like that, and they were basically just cruised in this one. Took advantage of Yuri Patera and some poor defense. The guys were not really able to keep Colorado shots off the board. This one, Colorado was able to get 36 shots on net. So the system really hadn't been set in yet. So that one, they did manage to win the other game in that series. So they split it, which was nice. But you never want to see a blowout like this. But I kind of excuse this one just given how early in the season it was. And how they were all trying to learn a completely new coach's system.
Have a fun workout, babe. Um, the next game I wanted to talk about was literally the next game. It was about 6 weeks later, December 7th, and the score was the same, but the result was different. The Vancouver Canucks won 6-1. So how did they go from losing 6-1 in Abbotsford to winning 6-1 in Colorado?
This is where you started to see the Malholtra system take full effect. It was come out and get on the score sheet quick and early and bring the attack. And then in the second period, just kind of play defensively, make sure that you don't give up any major chances. And then in the third, you just take whatever they give you and roll with it. So, and also the young guys were all back. So we had Linus Karlsson, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Baines, Oman. Everyone was in the lineup for this one. When you look at the score sheet, Linus Karlsson scores the first goal. Lekkerimäki gets his 7th of the season in this one from Baines. Baines gets a goal set up from Lekkerimäki. And then Karlsson again in the third period gets his 2nd of the game, and Lekkerimäki gets his 2nd of the game after that. And none of these are empty netters. These are all like scoring good goals. The power play was starting to click. This was the first game of a 4-game win streak, and it was the first kind of signs that Abbotsford was kind of maturing and growing as a young team. Then they had obviously later on they had a 9-game win streak, and then I think 12-game win streak late in the season as well. So this is kind of where beginning of December is kind of where everything started to shift. That Abbotsford was really looking like they were going to be a playoff team, and everyone was kind of settling into their roles, and the top lines were clicking. Man, it was good hockey.
They finish off the season series going into the next night, winning 5-2, which is great, and then winning again in Abbotsford, a nail biter 5-4. Eagles do take the last one of the regular season 5-3 in Colorado on February the 8th. But overall, as you can see, the stats wise, Abbotsford ends up being 4-2, which is good enough to win a best of 7 series. So I like that stat. And then Colorado, since they did lose one in overtime, they do still come out 2-3-1. So not quite as bad as it looks, losing with the Canucks having 4 wins. But the other thing that I thought was interesting too was just even the goals against when you're looking at aways and home goals. So Vancouver didn't change. They scored 11 home goals. They scored 11 away goals. They didn't change. And then for Colorado, it was totally different. 16 home goals in it is 4 games, but 3 away goals, right? But it's still 5.5 per game at home for Abbotsford and 2.75 on the road. And then Colorado 4 at home and then 1.5 on the road. Is there a reason there is a pretty big discrepancy where it seems like no matter where they're playing, Vancouver plays the same game, or, you know, what do you take away from that?
I think it's just a testament to how well balanced they are with their structure. I mean, they roll 4 lines so well now. It's really it's unfortunate that these games aren't televised, because fans are really missing out. When you get a chance, look up the highlights and stuff, because these guys are really fun to watch, and I really think they're going to go even further in these playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we need to look at probably not this year, but well, I mean, if they keep on going, we might try this year. But I was thinking of me and you kind of doing an Abbey Canucks kind of highlight style package, because I see a ton of the guys, obviously, like Jake's Takes Hockey, Diener HD, all these guys are doing highlight packages for the Canucks, but nobody's doing it for the Abbey Canucks. So I think that might be something we should look at doing moving forward for all the kids, because like you said, the hockey down there is amazing, and you want to know what your prospects are doing, and that's the best way to figure it out, is to watch the highlights.
Yeah, and like honestly, this is the most involved I've ever been with the farm team, because of you asking me to kind of take that role and focus on them a little more, and it's given me so much more knowledge about the team and who's up and coming and who's kind of ready to make that jump, and it's just been really, really rewarding, and I've gotten to see some incredible hockey games because of it.
Awesome. Dustin, thank you very much for joining us, getting us all up to date on the Colorado Eagles and the Abby Canucks coming up, playing on Friday. We will be live on Friday. I don't know what your schedule looks like, but that night, would you mind? Do you feel like jumping on after the Abby game is over, and we could do a post-game show for them?
Yeah, I should be around Friday night to jump in and have a little chat. I'd like to talk kind of about Colorado and how they haven't really been great this playoffs yet. They really struggled to beat San Jose, so that's something that bodes well for Abbotsford going into the series.
Cool. Well, we're going to be live again on Wednesday, so I don't know if you got time that night, so we could always fit you into one of the intermissions too if you want to chat more about the Eagles through the playoffs so far.
Sounds good. Yeah, we can sneak something in there.
Cool. Sounds good, brother. Enjoy the rest of the game. We'll talk to you soon.
Nothing is perfect.